We talk about how courageous it is to be convicted, but I'm going to challenge you that the real courage is in being confused. It's in the confusion and not understanding something and having the courage to explore it, to reach out and see a different perspective, to understand a different way, a different view. And that's where the real courage comes in.
Welcome to the Dr. Crockett Show. This is where we go where the scalpel doesn't reach most of the time. Today, I have a really special guest with me. I say they're all special. They are all special, but this one I've literally known from...
Don't say it.
No? Okay.
All my life. But we don't just have to say how long that is.
I'm not saying that.
I didn't know.
I was going to say from like the first day you were born.
That's true.
Please welcome my younger sister, my younger, beautiful, talented sister, Kristine Olsta.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm so glad to
be here.
It's kind of fun, right? We've done some crazy things together in our lives. This may top the list. I don't know.
You've done some crazy things in your life.
Hey, you jumped off that dock with me.
True.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That's a story for another show. Okay, so today,
what are we going to do?
Well, the cool thing about why we're here even is because not only are we sisters, but we've also done some business ventures together. And the really cool thing is that you have some skill sets that I don't. So you have this background in operations and you're very detailed, and you're actually going to be running our vitamin shop for us when we launch. And so I wanted to start off just by framing how we work together and how the differences are between us and kind of what your business background is. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
I'll try. So I'm logical. I'm very pragmatic, analytical, was trained in all of those things. My last career was in a visionary integrator relationship role where I was the integrator. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So that complements you who are more creative, visionary, and benefits at times from having a little bit of guidance about focus and the
details. Yeah. And then professionally, you were in a career where you were very detail oriented.
Very much so.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I started my career in IT, and I carried a tool bag and serviced equipment, mission critical equipment. So I had to be precise and exact.
All of those things.
All of those things. And that progressed into more of a management role as I worked my way through the ranks, if you will.
As it happens, yeah.
Yeah. And got more into the business elements of running the platform.
Well, yeah, it was a hardware platform that you were helping manage.
Correct.
A very big,
very important. Contracts, vendors, products.
All that kind of stuff.
All of that stuff, budget.
So it's been interesting to me as I've built my business, particularly my practice over the last 10 years. You've brought in some really practical resources about how to do team building and teamwork and all of that. I want to tell a story about when we went on vacation together, and I was trying to figure out why I could drop my blood pressure medicine in 2 days when I went on vacation and how I could bring that back home. Do you remember that trip?
I do.
Because that was about 3 or 4 years ago, and we'd kind of figured out, well, we eat healthy where we are because it's all natural. There's no fast food when we go to that beach. And then we exercise a lot. We're in the water a lot and walking a lot. And we get good sleep, and the stupid cell phone's not going off. All of those things are stress reduction. But I remember one morning I got up and you said, okay, pull out your laptop, do a spreadsheet. And I'm like, I'm not doing a spreadsheet. I'm on vacation. What the heck?
I don't remember that, but I kind of do. What was the purpose?
You made me write out every hour of my day, what I did when we were at that beach versus what I do at home.
Sounds like a really good idea.
It was. Because we found 2 things out of that experiment that we didn't know. And one of them was that I conk out at 3 o'clock every day. And so I took that information, that data that you helped me get, and started modifying my days so that I wasn't trying to push through the 3 to 5 o'clock hour so much. I just bumped everything up and condensed my lunch hour. So that was cool. But the other really exciting and thing that I didn't really expect, but that's been validated by data now, is what we do in the evenings when we're on vacation there, which is we all gather at the restaurant with friends or at a house with friends, and we socialize and
Yes.
laugh our tails off. Can I say that?
It's your show.
It's my show. I can say
You
it.
can laugh your ass off.
I can laugh.
We have a good time.
We have a great time, but we're around friends and we socialize and laugh and have a great time too. So
It's not always about what are you producing, what goals are you hitting, what have you have left to do.
Yeah.
It's, hey, this was a really great day because I saw this or I did this or I.
Yeah. And connecting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wanted to just mention how grateful I am for that. I just think I give that example a whole lot about the difference in how our minds work and what you bring to the table as a business person. So I know that's not what you wanted to talk about today.
It's okay.
Today.
I can roll with it today. It's your show.
It's my show. So today we're going to talk a little bit about conviction,
Yes.
confusion,
Yes.
and how that interfaces with connection, which is that social thing, our interpersonal connection with people.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about what you've been learning and discovering and why these three things go together and how they fit together.
So it was really a rediscovery recently of an article that I was introduced to in school.
Yeah.
So I recently reread it and was like, that was a really life-changing discussion that I had. And it starts out talking about convictions and how we ground ourselves in our convictions, whether it's family traditions, religious values, belief systems, and that we're trained that convictions are really important to hold on to so that you can be a good person.
Yeah. Convictions, traditions kind of fall into that.
Mm-hmm.
Clanism, kind of partisanship.
And then all of a sudden the article flipped it on its ear and said, you know, we talk about how courageous it is to be convicted, but I'm going to challenge you that the real courage is in being confused. It's in the confusion and not understanding something and having the courage to explore it, to reach out and see a different perspective, to understand a different way, a different view. And that's where the real courage comes in, as well as a whole bunch of other things that are positive that fall behind it. But that's the premise of this, I'll call it life-changing learning.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially at first to have that curiosity to even think of how to enter into that space.
Mm-hmm.
So
We like comfort. We like familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you've moved through that process into connection. Got any good stories? You got a million good stories.
I've got a few good stories, but the kind of the progression is when you open yourself up to being confused, you open yourself up to exploring the why that you don't understand. And the why is such a tremendous force of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And when we understand more, we connect better. We connect more. You may not agree or adopt a different value structure, but if you understand it, you can at least have maybe a respect for it, or it would limit perhaps your knee-jerk reaction to combat it.
Like that story that you were telling at lunch today.
So I got a random text message that said, is your vehicle still available? I don't have a vehicle listed anywhere. So I just said, no, it's not. And I got a barrage, like 3 angry text messages back at me.
Like boom, boom, boom. Like Facebook.
Yeah.
Style.
Yeah, and called me a bitch. And,
oh my gosh.
Like, you people in Texas are crazy and you need to get your S together.
Wow.
How dare you kind of. So we'll just stop right there. That person was met with confusion, something they didn't understand. And instead of digging into the why, they just fought. They didn't embrace
They
the
got
confusion.
there was a reaction right away. There was no ability to sit and have a reasonable.
Yeah, they were offended because they didn't get the answer they expected or that they thought was reasonable. And so they just was like, I'm going to be combative with you.
So they thought you had listed a vehicle and then had sold it and had not taken down the listing and then wasted their time and gotten their hopes up and all of that. And they were reacting to that, all that disappointment.
They were.
Micro grief.
Micro grief.
I just made that up. Is that a thing? Micro grief. I don't even know.
I don't know, but it's the immediate reaction of, again, it goes back to when there's something that we don't understand, you can do one of two things. You can either go, I don't understand that, and explore it with a why, or you can say, I don't understand that, and boom, hit it in the face,
Yeah.
fight it.
Yeah.
Have an angry response. So I got those messages and I'm like, oh, this could be fun. What do I do with this?
Yes, because that's my sister.
Oh,
How can we mess with this one?
and so out of my character somewhat, I crafted a couple of responses that matched this person's, language and cadence.
Yeah. Energy.
Energy. And I said,
Oh my gosh.
no, wasn't me. It's not me. It's not my mistake. I don't have anything listed. The lister wrongly put my phone number, but I kind of had fun with it because I
used a little bit colorful language there.
I did. And I got back the nicest reply.
Really?
Yes. It was, oh, sister, you must be going through hell. I'm so sorry that,
goodness.
you got to figure out how to get that taken down.
Aw.
And I was like, okay. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, that's a fascinating story. What a good experiment that is.
So I was able to break through got to some understanding, kind of broke up the confusion. But imagine if that person's response would have been different to begin with, instead of combative, if they would have said, well, that doesn't make sense. Why is that? Why is that?
Met it with curiosity instead of anger.
Correct.
Yeah.
We would have had a different exchange. And, not everybody gets to that breakthrough point either. You think about all the exchanges we have with people.
Thousands.
And people that we say we don't really like or align with, it's probably mostly because we let ourselves have our feelings get hurt, or we just don't take the time to understand where they're coming from.
Because it takes time and it takes effort.
It does.
And in this society where we're like, on to the next thing, fast, make the judgment, react, and go on, that's worth saying more than once that we need to take a minute and pause. Push pause.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you ended up with a connection with this person.
Brief, but yes, it ended positively for both of us.
Yeah, because you ended up in alignment after the confusion.
Correct.
Attuned. You were attuned to each other. You understood what was going on.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, instead of just ignoring it,
So how do we bring this out to a broader societal scale? Well, that's a really great like micro example of a one-on-one interaction on something very small. But how do we expand this into our society and, I don't want to say corporate structures, that's not the right word, our community structures, politics? How do we bring that onto a broader scale?
I don't know how we bring it onto a broader scale, but you can certainly multiply the impact of being convicted versus confused when you look at what's going on in our communities, in our state, in our country, in the world. You can multiply that as big or as little as you want.
Well, so this is interesting. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when you talk about the conviction thing, I can hear a lot of our viewers going, oh, I don't want to give up my convictions. I don't think that's what you're asking people to do here either.
Not at all. I'm not asking anybody to give up their convictions.
Or their values or anything like that.
Core values are essential
Right.
to guiding us through our decisions. However, challenge me on mine. If I don't have the courage to be confused about them and reevaluate them, perhaps in a new light, maybe I'm missing something.
All right.
Maybe you are too.
Well, that takes a lot of humility. And
I don't know about that. I think it's being open to growth and change and perspective. You think about how our life begins in the big scheme of things.
yeah,
If we weren't confused, we would only know what we know
in that little bitty.
in that little bitty space.
Yeah.
But once you begin to look at the world with some curiosity, approach it with some confusion,
Yeah.
embracing the confusion of it. I don't understand that. That's new to me. Why would somebody go to a museum and look at these? I don't know. Well, let's go see.
Let's go figure it out.
Yeah. And you can either appreciate it or not, but at least you've gone and opened yourself up to that experience. The same applies to your core values. I think if you can't be challenged in any aspect of your life, there's potential opportunities you're missing out on.
Yeah, I agree. One of the sayings that we have as part of our show is love draws a bigger circle. And I've used that for a long time. I've always joked that if I was ever going to get a tattoo, that's what I would get, is it scrolled around my wrist. And it comes from that same kind of idea that we start with a circle this big, but through the process of loving each other, which essentially is what you're talking about here, without using that word, you're attuning to others and trying to understand them and connect with them. You get a little bit bigger circle of understanding, and then it keeps expanding.
Exactly.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. I can connect with you and still not necessarily align with all of your belief systems, but I can connect with you because I have taken the time to understand you.
Yeah. And if we expand that to our governments and corporate structures and communities and religions, we can make the world a better place.
Yeah, we could ultimately get along better.
Yeah.
And probably get some things done because we'll focus on, the real change that needs to happen.
Instead of being mad.
Instead of being mad at each other and all my way or no way.
Yeah.